It's Friday, it's 10:30, it's time to party. I'm your excellent host, Wayne Campbell. With me as always is Garth. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Okay. I have no idea why I just opened with a Wayne's World reference. I just kind of wanted to do that and go, whoa, excellent. Dude, I totally need to watch those movies again. Mike Myers and Dana Carvey as Wayne and Garth, phenomenally hilarious. It's just totally a guilty pleasure. And I love the SNL movies. I like Night at the Roxbury. I love Coneheads. I like the Blues Brothers. All the SNL movies were really good. I mean, we won't talk about Superstar. But I was a Molly Shannon fan, and I get a lot of heat for that, but I was. But I have no idea why this is starting out this video today. But it is. And we are here. It is almost 11 o'clock at night, so close to 10:30. It's not Friday, it's Saturday. You know what Saturday means? It's time for Plus and Minus. Yay! So, people ask me, what park do you want to go to this week? And if you've already watched last week's video, you know the answer to that question. And if you watched not till the end of yesterday's video, you would know that I totally lost my mind and completely forgot what day it was. The fact it was Friday yesterday and not like Monday or Tuesday. So, you know the answer, and the answer is this. Disney's Hollywood Studios is my plus and minus today. Now, full disclosure, I'm a huge, and continue to be, a huge Disney MGM Studios fan. I really connected with the studios. Honestly, it captivated me from the first time I stepped foot into the park. Back in the days of Superstar Television and the Monster Sound Show, way before any mention of anything involving Pixar, or really like Star Tours or Indiana Jones. I don't recall much from my first times at the studios, but I do recall the fact that I love movies, and a theme park devoted to movies is right up my alley. Like I was a big Universal Studios fan before Islands opened. And don't get me wrong, I love Universal. I'm an annual pass holder and proud of it. But the studios has a very special place in my heart. Now, when they switched over to Disney's MGM Studios to Disney's Hollywood Studios, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to but I wasn't sure I was going to be able to live with the change. I was going to call it MGM or call it the Studios. So I just call it the Studios personally. But Disney's Hollywood Studios is stuck. And I have no problem with the name change now. So, I also want to tell you straight up that Disney's Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. I seem to spend the most time, even though Foursquare seemed to think I spend more time in Epcot, and apparently I did for the long time. But basically, I was pretty much spending time in Epcot so I could get on to Test Track before the public. So that's the reason why I was at Epcot all the time. Save the reunion day, obviously. But Foursquare will learn this year that Hollywood Studios is my park of choice, and I will be spending a whole lot of time in the studios. Now, we've got a plus and minus. I've got a map in front of me, and I've done some research, and I went into my wiki sites, and I found the maps of Walt Disney Studios Paris and Disney California Adventure. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plus and minus the studios in the way I know how. I'm going to add attractions from other parks in the right areas so I can make it a whole better theme park. And this whole half-day mantra that seems to follow it, and Animal Kingdom both, nah, not anymore. The plus and minus I did for Animal Kingdom, if you want to watch that video a couple of weeks ago, you'll see that I added a whole lot to Animal Kingdom, and there's a whole lot of differences. Now, with my new park, same with the studios. I'm going to make the studios into not only a destination, the destination of Walt Disney World Resort. And we're going to start with this. Now, I'm going to get the map in front of me. Now, we're starting Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm looking at the map from this perspective, so I'm going to go 1A, 1B. Now, the first thing we need to do, the sorcerer hat, it's gone. Gone completely. Everybody would be very happy that the fact I did that first, so that's the first thing we're doing. We're getting rid of the hat, getting rid of it. And we're bringing more shine to the Eiffel Tower, which is the original icon. Well, there's another icon that I want to bring out too. Not really an icon, but an experience, but I'll talk about that later. Now, the Great Movie Ride, I love it in all its intricacies and awesomeness, but when it comes down to it, most of the people that watch those movies, that ride those rides, have no idea what those movies are. Sadly, the children that ride that ride are like, I've heard this too, like, Mommy, what's that? What's that? What's that? And even the long reel at the very end of the ride badly needs to be updated. So I can go a lot of directions with this. Now, the proposed Muppets version of the Great Movie Ride, I love that idea, but I got another idea for the Muppets. And I want to bring that up later, because I definitely am using the Muppets in this. So, the Great Movie Ride gets some more updated scenes, more iconic scenes. Like, we have a lot of iconic scenes. You know, now that George Lucas has pretty much given us carte blanche, bring Star Wars into the Great Movie Ride. And I know that we are not Disney's MGM Studios anymore, but where's James Bond? James Bond needs to be in this. And Avatar, and even though I'm not an Avatar fan, there's a lot of really awesome films in Titanic. There's a lot of things that really need to be involved with the Great Movie Ride. And that's exactly what you do. You go in there and you find the scenes. The iconic scenes, obviously, the Wizard of Oz can stay, Casablanca can stay. And we do what we have to do to make up for the movies that nobody knows. Like, for example, I mean, Busby Berkeley's Footlight Parade. Not many people have ever seen it or even know what it is. So there's a way to put over the musicals. I mean, we could talk about Chicago. We could talk about Moulin Rouge. We could talk about Les Miserables. We could talk about, well, I know I'd say we could talk about Rent, but maybe not for... This park would be the closest thing I could find if you want to talk about Rent at all. And then maybe you can do a tie-in with the Oz movies if it works really well, and the Wizard of Oz at the end of it. Or you can talk about Wicked, or you can do that. Horror movies, there's a lot of directions to go, but Universal covers the monsters, and Maniacs are way too extreme for this park. Well, this, like I said, once again, it's the park you could get away with it, but a little bit extreme, so there's a different way to go there. But, and then you take the actual ending montage, which is awesome, by the way, and you add some more movies to it. Obviously, you got Chronicles of Narnia in there, but go a little further than that. Utilize more properties. So we got that. Brown Derby stays as is. Maybe the service gets a little bit better, or maybe that's just my first time. I need to go back to Brown Derby sometime soon. It might be in September. I haven't quite decided yet. Okay, now let's start doing some demo work. Now this is the best part of plus and minus. We're talking about plussing things, we're also minusing things, and vice versa. Now the first thing I would do, and this has nothing to do with the fact that I'm bitter because I lost twice, because you know what, I did get a lot of votes, and a lot of people told me I did get a lot of votes, but you know, Idol's done. Idol jumped the shark, and in the next couple of years there won't be an American Idol anymore. I mean, The Voice has taken, and X Factor has taken over, so you don't really want to latch onto those. If you still want to do karaoke, I think there's a place to put it, and I'll talk about that in the next couple of weeks. That I'll bring that up later to revamp another area that obviously I hold very dear. But we'll talk about that later. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to take American Idol Experience and totally get rid of it. 100%. It's gone. And what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it in something else in its place. Now, the funny thing is there's something at Walt Disney Studios Paris. And it's something that people seem to really enjoy. And it's called Cinemagique. Okay. Cinemagique is basically a theater show. And I'm going to read exactly what it says from Wiki, like word for word here. Mixing live performances of an actor with synchronized movie scenes on the big screen. It stars Martin Short and Julie Delpy. Now, I like this idea. I like this idea a lot. Cinemagique needs to be in America. And where's it going? It's going to Hollywood Studios. I say you gut out the Idol building, and you've got a perfect, ginormous theater there. So you bring Cinemagique to Idol. And then you basically just watch the people come inside. They're going to get really excited. Like when Lights, Motors, Action first opened and it was packed all the time. Then a couple years later, people stopped caring. I'd use Cinemagique pretty much how Magic Kingdom uses PhilharMagic. Pretty much what I would do with this, but obviously to a much grander scale, because this is going to be an experience, pun intended. This is going to be an experience, takes over for Idol, so that way, you put up a lot of, but you're going to say, Sir Owen, you put a lot of cast members, a lot of decent people out of work. No, I didn't, and I'll tell you why in just a few minutes. So it's bringing Cinemagique to the US in Hollywood Studios. Brilliant idea, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So we got Idol there. People give a lot of garbage to Sounds Dangerous. And you know, it's not terrible. It's a good place to take a nap. Thank you, Matt. But when it comes down to it, you know, I don't mind having this element in the studios. Something needs to be there. Something needs to be in that space so it doesn't just sit dormant. Something needs to come from the past to make a brighter future. Yes, that's right. I'm bringing Superstar Television back. We're going to go with the old school shows, obviously, the I Love Lucy's. And if you really want to make it nostalgic, technically it really is. Home Improvement would be one of them. But then again, you could use the new style shows, like the ABC shows like Modern Family, and pretty much all the other ABC properties. And you make Superstar Television. You bring it back. It's in a smaller theater this time. But I think the demand wouldn't be extreme right away. So, pretty much, the Sounds Dangerous Theater, the ABC Soundstage, would be able to cover it. So I think that's what we do with that. Now, a lot of my friends from the Comedy Warehouse work at Epic, which, for all of you people out there that don't know, is CM speak for Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. And you know what? I'm finally going to just completely get rid of it. And it's about time that I do. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to go through all the different situations so I can figure this one out. Now, well, first off, what you do is you get rid of that entire area. So now you have this big vacant spot, and you have nothing to put there. Yeah, you do. What you do is you bring Indiana Jones, the ride from Disneyland, finally the studios, which was what everybody's been wanting all along, so I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to bring Indiana Jones. Now, the difference, what I'm going to do this time is, I'm not going to make it a carbon copy. I'm not going to make it a carbon copy of Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Oh no. Oh no. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take all the Indiana Jones attractions all over the world. I'm going to find the best parts of each. We're going to stick with the dinosaur mantra, but make it a lot less jerky, because Indiana Jones is really jerky. And what we're going to do is, we're going to take the best parts of all the attractions and mix them together, write a new storyline to make everything fit together, and boom, you got the Indiana Jones adventure. So that's a great thing to do there, and everybody's been wanting it for so long, so you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it in, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, before I start talking about that, I do want to bring up Disney Channel Rocks. And you know, Disney Channel Rocks, I've only seen once, and it was just like the half of it. I was a big fan of High School Musical. I'll admit it. I liked High School Musical. I liked the music. I love the story. And when it comes down to it, it worked really well. Now, Disney Channel Rocks, for me, doesn't work because I don't really know the songs. Now, what you do to update Disney Channel Rocks is, you can stick with the High School Musical stuff. You can bring in maybe some old school Hannah Montana. And pretty much like some Camp Rock and just the stuff that really did well. But this time you bring in some Ross Lynch. You can include some of the Austin and Ally music. And also if you want to, you can bring in Debbie Ryan, who obviously is on Jessie now. And you modernize this. Make it a lot about the Disney Channel Rocks. Make it brand new. You can add new songs to it. You can add new dance steps to it. And plus it to make it new again. So there you go. Now, alright, so the dining pretty much stays as is. If you want to do anything with Hollywood and Vine, well, I guess well, actually, no. Hollywood and Vine is fine as is, but you want to do something with the Disney Junior characters this time around. So, like Sophia the First, if it's still around by then, Doc McStuffins, just like the Disney Junior, Peter, like the Neverland, Jake and the Neverland Pirates. You want to do that this time around. Maybe update Hollywood and Vine a little bit. So this time, it's the newer characters. Or, if you want to go a completely different route, how about you take a page out of what Universal could have done and take like old-timey movie characters like Humphrey Bogart, and you can put them, like, and have obviously some great improv actors, and of course you have a bunch of them on property and off property, and they could do some sort of like a Hollywood and Vine could turn into like a murder mystery theater, or a smaller, low-scale version of one. I mean, I think there needs to be a murder mystery type thing. I don't know if you really want to call it murder mystery, because obviously there's kids there, but there's got to be a way to tweak it to make it work. Like, you got the 1920s, and you got the citizens of Hollywood to help you out with this, so we can do like a whodunit. A whodunit would work really well, and that's what we do. We theme Hollywood and Vine at night. We have the kid, obviously we have the Disney Junior characters during the day, and at dinner time, we flip everything over, and it becomes a whodunit dinner show. And I think that would work really well, because I know a lot of people were talking about making the ad club into a dinner experience. Kind of like Hoop-de-Doo. And it would work, so I think this is the way to do it. Plus, Hollywood and Vine food, by and large, is not the greatest, so you make it a little bit different, and you make it better, and once again, we plus it up. So there you go. I love primetime. I would bring back something I could eat there and make it a little bit better. I love the gimmick of primetime. It works really well. Men and Bills is fine. Anything is fine on this list, so we're going to go with. One thing I do want to do, though. But I can't talk about it yet till we get to something else, so it's kind of hard, but I'm going to have to. Now, what I'm going to do is, there's been a lot, and I do mean a lot, of people talking about the Comedy Warehouse again, and I'm very, very happy to say that. Now, the Premier Theater was the perfect place for the Comedy Warehouse shows, and if you promote them better, I think it would be a permanent spot, not just the holiday times. I think it'd be a permanent spot. But if you go the direction that I want to go, with something else, what you could do is, you can do maybe special holiday shows. Not just Christmas. Holiday shows like July 4th, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You could bring in the Comedy Warehouse for the holidays. But mainly you use Premier Theater. It just sits as is and becomes pretty much whatever you want to use it for. I mean, you want to use it for movies, you want to use it for the Comedy Warehouse, that's fine. And I wanted to put Comedy Warehouse here permanently. And then I thought about it and I realized there's a plus and minus I really need to do that would put it back where it belongs, back home again. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. And in about, I think, 3 weeks, I will do just that. So, Premiere pretty much stays as is, so we're fine with that. Muppet Vision, we get a new show, get a new movie. They go in, they shoot a new movie, and if you want to include, like, the new characters, you want to bring in Ricky Gervais, you want to bring in Amy Adams, you want to bring in the newer Muppets characters, and pretty much do it that way. You can theme it that way, and it's old school, but it's new school again, so it works really well. And I think you finally do something with Mama Melrose that they were going to do all along. Now, Mama Melrose was supposed to be a gimmick restaurant for the Muppets, and I think it fits perfectly to do just that. Now, you remember Rizzo's Diner in Muppets Take Manhattan. I think what you do in this case is you theme it that way, and we have a Muppets dining experience. And if you can have Muppets music playing, you can have Rizzo come out, kind of like how Remy comes out at Chefs de France. We can do it that way. Or we can do like interactive shows with the Muppets, kind of like they do on Disney Cruise Line with Crush and Animator's Palette. So that could work really well. So you could have different video screens all around, and normally they're showing like Muppets movie clips and television clips, but at some point what you do is the screen goes black and you hear like something like from the old Muppet Show, and the red curtain comes up, and all of a sudden Kermit, or Fozzie, or Gonzo, or Miss Piggy, or a combination of all of them, or maybe Dr. Teeth. I mean, any of the Muppets characters could be just on the screen talking to you and interacting with you, and I think it would work really, really well. Kind of look at it as Muppets take Planet Hollywood. That's the best way I can think of to describe it. And you make it fit, and you make it work. So, and it fits really well with the Muppets area, so that's exactly what you do with it. Now, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids done its party in Epcot already, thankfully, because obviously Gigabyte is not my favorite thing to see in the world. I've only seen it once, but did see it once. Now, the thing is, what you do is you utilize this area for Phineas and Ferb. What it could be is something that they created, like their best things they've ever created on their best days ever. And it doesn't really step on Agent P's toes, because Agent P is now at Epcot, so you can't really put Phineas and Ferb anywhere in Epcot. So that's what you do with it. And you take the meet and greet aspect to do it at the very end, and I think that would work pretty well. So, we've done that, we're good on that, and we're still in, so Streets of America is almost completely done. But there's something missing, and you know what's missing here? Well, first off, I want to talk about Pizza Planet, and I think what you do is you take the original concept art for Pizza Planet, or if you want to go to, for Paris and their Pizza Planet, and make it better. You put in, make the arcade aspect not just the only gimmick. You actually make it like Pizza Planet in Toy Story, and I think it worked really well for the Pixar area that I'm working on right now, but I'll mention that in a minute. So, you've got that, so we're good on that. Now, here's another thing I want to talk about, and I'm reading this from a list, obviously. Now, they've been talking about whispers, and whispers are becoming a lot louder by the second. And I've heard this from cast members, I've heard this from people, I've heard this from a lot of people. And they're talking about bringing Cars Land to Hollywood Studios. And I have zero problems with this, because obviously I can't get to California right now. But what I think they're going to do is like a mini Cars Land, kind of like how they do at Art of Animation in their Cars area. I think that worked pretty well. So what you do is, you get rid of Lights, Motors, Action, and you take that spot, and you bring in Radiator Springs Racers, so that will work really well. Now, on top of that, you have the Backlot Tour, and the Backlot Tour is gone. We're going to get rid of it completely. So you have Radiator Springs Racers, and you bring in a Flo's V8 Cafe. We need a little restaurant in that area, so that will work pretty well. Now, or if anything, you even could take Studio Catering Company. No, not really. That's Phineas and Ferb area. But anyway, what you do is you bring it in. You have Flo's V8 Cafe. You have Radiator Springs Racer. You bring in Luigi's Flying Tires, and you bring in Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, and you do it the right way. And you make a Cars area. Now, you've got the Cars area that everybody has been wanting all along. So we're good now. Everything's good to go. So everybody's happy. Well, one thing I wanted to do real quick, if you want to go backwards in the park, and I'm going to have to do this because we're talking about Star Tours. Star Tours recently got plussed up anyway with a lot of different ways to do it. Now, there's a lot of different outcomes and a lot of different characters and places you run into and go to. Now, in this case, that works just fine, but I think Star Wars isn't covered as well as it could be. And, you know, I think the Backlot Express, you know, I think it fits something else. I think the Backlot Express needs to be gutted out completely. And you know what we turn it to? We turn it into the Cantina. That's right. Playing continuously. And we have Star Wars themed restaurant in Hollywood Studios. Can you imagine all the Star Wars fans in this world coming to the studios in droves, mind you, not just for Star Wars weekends, but just coming to be able to eat in a Star Wars restaurant? Talk about money right there. And I think it'd work just fine. And I think it'd fit really well. So now, we've got Cars Land. We've got the Indiana Jones Adventure. We have got Cinemagique. We have got Disney Channel Rocks plussed up. We have made Phineas and Ferb now in charge of the movie set adventure. And we brought Superstar Television and updated the Great Movie Ride. What's left? Well, if you noticed, I took a lot of Pixar attractions out of other parks when I minus them. And I did that for a reason, and I'll tell you that in a minute. Now, we go to the next area. Toy Story Mania, still bringing in crowds. It's amazing, love it. So, obviously, it's going to stay. But, we've got a Pixar Place area, and it fits perfectly. Now, what we're going to do, it's going to start a little bit differently. Now, One Man's Dream and Legend of Captain Jack Sparrow are going to have to stay, because I can't really do anything with them. I want One Man's Dream here, but I want it at Magic Kingdom, to be totally honest. So, I could get rid of it and move it to the Magic Kingdom, but you know what? I'm going to keep it there for sentimental reasons, so we're fine with that. Now, what I'm doing here is the Monsters, Inc. door roller coaster that's supposed to be beside Toy Story Mania, that they've been talking about forever. We're finally going to do it. We're going to finally put it in there. So we got the door roller coaster, and that's fine. And Little Mermaid has been gutted out completely, and I got rid of it because we already have plenty of Little Mermaid stuff at Magic Kingdom. So it's time to do something new. And what I'm doing is, because of what I ended up doing at Animal Kingdom, I'm moving Finding Nemo the musical to Little Mermaid. So that's right, we're going to bring everything from Finding Nemo the musical into Little Mermaid. Now, we might have to take out some seats here and there, or raise the roof a little bit so it could accommodate the show. But I think we could work it out somehow. If anything, we could elevate the roof a little bit. I'm thinking about this. That's the reason why it's going to be done. Elevate the roof a little bit, but then again, the theater's kind of sunken in, so it kind of works. I'm going to have to see what... I mean, obviously, I'm not a construction guy, but when it comes down to it, we can raise the roof a little bit and maybe build an add-on so we can have like a big, nice walls with Walt Disney quotes. It says, Guess Who's Coming 2017, 18, so I don't know what year it would be, but it basically brings Finding Nemo the musical from Animal Kingdom to Hollywood Studios. So we've got that in Pixar Land, so we're good on that. The Pixar Place Land works really well. Now, something I've been talking about for a long time, and I think there is not enough presence for The Incredibles. And I really think The Incredibles is a missed opportunity. It was a franchise that should have had another movie, should have a whole lot more than it had. Brad Bird, brilliant director. I love The Incredibles. It's pretty much the closest Disney's going to get to a superhero movie. Well, it was. But anyway, pretty much what I want to do is I want to take the Spider-Man technology and I want to create an Incredibles attraction. And I want to use, obviously, Syndrome, my boy Jason Lee, as the heel for this. And we go on an adventure. We meet Edna Mode. We see all the Incredibles in action. And we basically go through pretty much the same story as Spider-Man, but you do it a whole lot differently. And you make it interactive, and I think it would do really well. And I've been championing this idea for a long time. So I think because I've got the pin now, I've got the book, I'm finally going to do this. And I'm going to bring an Incredibles attraction, Spider-Man style, to Hollywood Studios. I think that worked really well. So basically we've done everything we need to do. And Magic of Disney Animation, Disney Junior, all that stays the same. And, you know, I really want to do something with Beauty and the Beast, but I can't. Because I can't really think of something to put there. I mean, I could put, like, Toy Story the Musical there. That's on DCL right now. But it really wouldn't fit because it's not in the right area. So, as for now, Beauty and the Beast stays as is. Or, if you really want to, they're talking about bringing Tangled. A Tangled show to the studios. And that could work. I could see that. Now, they also want World of Color. Now, if you really want to go that direction, I changed Illuminations. And if you want to bring in World of Color, you're going to have to change it up a little bit, obviously, because I don't think the area that Fantasmic is in, I don't think that theater could hold World of Color, but I could be wrong. I've seen videotape. It's pretty much all I've seen. I've seen YouTube videos. But if you wanted to bring World of Color, that's fine. If you don't want to bring World of Color to make this completely like California Adventure, what you do is you plus Fantasmic. Find a way to bring the Captain Hook, Peter Pan ship battle, like their sword fight they have. And I want the dragon. We need a dragon. Because our dragon it's okay, but if you've been to Disneyland and you've seen the dragon they have for their Fantasmic, oh my god, you need to have it here. It fits too well. The Rock and Roller Coaster Tower of Terror, phenomenal. They're going to stay as is. All the experiences stay as is. Now, another thing I want to talk about too. Real quick, I've plussed everything, I've minused everything, changed some things around a little bit. Here's the thing I'm looking at right now. Animal Kingdom is getting Wilderness Explorers. Finally, something we tested out in 2011 that I very much enjoyed and might be a reason to bring me back to Animal Kingdom. 2. Epcot's got Agent P, which of course is the old Kim Possible, but plussed up a little bit as well. Disney has had a plus. 3. Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom is great, although people need to learn how to wait their turn and not have to wait in line. There honestly needs to be Fast Pass Plus on Sorcerers sometimes. It's insane. 4. Apparently, there's getting a new attraction in Adventureland, a new interactive game. That's fine, I got no problems with that. It's a pirate-themed game, that'll work really well. What's missing from this equation? Magic Kingdom has 2. Epcot has 1. Animal Kingdom even has 1. And you know, as soon as I plus and minus it, I think the water parks might have 1 as well. But I'll talk about that later. That'll be a couple weeks as well. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be, but I'll think about it. I might just do it all in one video. But, anyway, what I think you do is you take the Muppets Midship Detective Agency from the cruise line. Well, the same technology. Not the same storyline, obviously. And what you do is you do like a map to the stars' homes. What you do is you get this map. And what I mean by stars' homes, we call it like the map to the stars, something like that. Like search for the stars. I'm not exactly sure what you want to call it, but what you do basically is you find different pictures of different celebrities all around the park. And what you do if you don't have them now, you can put them in there at different places. And there's interactive games that go along with it. Now when you get to there, you get to answer like a multiple choice trivia question if you want to do it that, to get you the clue to the next celebrity. And once you're done, I get you some sort of a keepsake. I'm not exactly sure what it would be at this point, but something to show that you completed the map to the stars. And I think it worked really well. It would be an interactive exhibit. Now, the only rule, no Sid Coingas. No, not using Sid. Sid's is cheap. And no bus either. We have to find a way to do this to make it legit. So those are things people always go for. Now, it's a way to cheat the system. That'd be a way to get your RFID chip, because this obviously would be done with RFID technology. What you do is you get your map, and your map would take you to a kiosk that is near a hidden kiosk, kind of like Sorcerers, or obviously really like the Midship Detective Agency, like not necessarily a kiosk either, it could be just like a window of just a random place, and you hold your card up to it, knowing that you found the right celebrity, and then it takes you to the next. You answer a question, and you take it to the next one, and you go like 20, 30 some stars all over the parks. And it'd be like maybe little video questions, like video clips. That'd work really well too. Like movie clips, television clips. If they're still alive, you could do live video clips, like live video questions. And use your card to move downwards to choose the correct answer. And that, of course, will lead you to the next. Kind of like a scavenger hunt. But basically, you're using celebrities to do it. And I think at Hollywood Studios, that worked really well. You don't put it in any queue line. Well, maybe you might want to do it in queue lines. Like, it worked for the touring plan scavenger hunt at Reunion last year. That I had a total fun time doing. Shout out to 3 Men and a Ricky team. Had a great time. Great time with Rich, Ricky, and John. It was a really great time. And we had a lot of fun. Blasty blast all around the boards. Now, I do want to talk about that. I think that's a great idea, and I think it worked really, really well. And there's your interactive game for the studios. So, almost every park, well, every actual theme park, not the water parks, not Disney Quest, obviously not Downtown Disney, would have an interactive game that way. So, I've put a lot of thought into this. Obviously, I've got notes here. And I've been looking at a map, so that's why I'm looking upwards right now. But It was really fun. I had a really good time plussing my favorite theme park, and I hope you guys enjoyed the voyage. And I hope you guys enjoyed what I did with the parks. I utilized the exact things that everybody wanted to bring in, and I put my tweaks on it. I got rid of things that probably have seen better days, needed to be replaced a long time ago. Not bad attractions necessarily, in some cases, but things that really need to be plus, and that's exactly what I did. And obviously the minuses I took from other parks, I put them here. So that's exactly what I wanted to do all along. So that was the reason why I got rid of things like I did at Epcot and Animal Kingdom. Now, what we're going to do next week, I'm going to do something that I've been thinking about for a while as well. Now, we plus and minus Hollywood Studios had a blasty blast doing it. It was great. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, next week's plus and minus, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the assumption that one day Universal will get very tired of paying Disney. Very tired of paying Disney for the rights to the Marvel characters for Superhero Island. So, I'm going to go with the assumption that after they lose Marvel, what are they going to do with Superhero Island? They negotiate a deal with Six Flags and get the DC Comics characters. Now, someone has brought this up in a blog a long time ago. What would happen if DC took over Superhero Island? Bring Gotham City and Metropolis to IOA. And obviously what we do with Toon Lagoon if Middle-earth ends up coming in, if we end up getting Lord of the Rings. New stuff for Harry Potter. New stuff for Seuss Landing. Well, I don't need to beat around the bush anymore. Next week's plus and minus will be Universal's Islands of Adventure. Once again, thank you for watching. Subscribe, enjoy yourself. Hope you enjoyed my channel, hope you enjoyed my shows. Continue to watch, tell your friends. And until tomorrow for another boring Sunday that I have absolutely nothing to do, except for the 2 hours I'm going to be spending watching the WDW Today crew from the All-Star Vacation Home like I did earlier tonight. That's all I got to say about that.